Garnet Trust Hour on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
All right, welcome into this special edition of the Garnet Trust Hour here on 107.5 The Game. We'll be with you rolling along for the next hour. I'm Chris Clark in studio today, hanging out with Gamecock football's Jaylen Nichols. Excited to have you in, Jaylen. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How you doing?
Yeah, everything's good. I appreciate you being here, taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here with us. Got a lot of ground to cover with you. Do you remember that when you were getting recruited out of the Charlotte area, you probably don't remember that I would hit you up every now and then for an interview? Probably don't really remember that.
No. What did you hit me up on?
Yeah, so I've worked for Gamecock Central since 2009, so probably just I don't remember if you used Twitter during recruiting or not.
Not really.
Not really, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So would have just been on the phone, I guess. But I remember, I don't think you were a big interview guy.
I did
in high school.
I did like one. I was on the radio. I do remember that.
So you've done some radio?
Yeah. I've done a few. I've done like two, maybe.
Yeah, that was in high school.
Yeah, I definitely did one in high school for sure.
And then you played at Myers Park.
Yeah.
Who was the coach there then?
Chadwick.
Yeah, Scott Chadwick.
Yeah.
And then he went to Maryland for a little bit, right? As like an assistant. Now he's back in the high school game. Is that right?
Not sure.
No, I'm not sure honestly either. But he was a good guy. I remember when you got recruited, you're a little bit more of like an under the radar guy, right? Yeah. So like, tell me a little bit about your progression as a player. You know, have you played football? Did you play ever since you were young, or did you pick it up later?
I played football for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
I'm talking like the earliest age there is. So probably like, 4? So I started at flag and then worked my way up.
Yeah.
But, I'm like every other athletic kid. Play every single sport until you figure out, which one you really like. Yeah. And then this one kind of just stuck.
So did you play sometimes guys who end up playing offensive line, they'll be like, I used to be a running back or a quarterback when I was younger. What were your other spots?
I've always played on the line.
Yeah.
But I was like I played DN for the longest time.
Yeah.
I was super good at that. I thought I was going to be the best in the world. I played that until middle school.
Yeah.
I would say. I was literally the best DN ever. I could probably still play not mine. But yeah, I played DN. I played center. Just when I'm a little kid.
Yeah.
And center and DN for the longest amount of time. And then high school is when I started playing tackle.
Did you just kind of outgrow it? As far as DN, did you just outgrow it? Or what was kind of the shift? I
really don't know. I just played everything. Yeah. And then it kind of just stuck. I played defensive line in high school, too.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah.
Now, did you move inside and play tackle? You played some.
Yeah, I played mainly tackle. We had 2 good DNs.
Yeah.
So they just threw me inside because I could play everything. I was like, no.
Yeah.
I just want to play.
Yeah.
So,
At what point did you realize, hey, I'm going to have a chance to go play this game in this position, play the offensive line in college? Was it kind of pretty early on as a freshman? Was it a little bit later?
It was my sophomore year.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I can kind of do this. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
I used to playing defense. I was a defensive guy. I was like, yeah, I'm going to play offense a little bit, yada, 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 but I want to play defense. But then I think it was my sophomore year, they made me play offensive line, and they just stuck from there.
How big were you then? Like high school sophomore, do you remember?
High school sophomore, probably 6'3", 6'4", I think. I was 3. No, I'm lying. I was 280, 285.
But you still had some size even back then. You'll see some guys shoot up, or they'll be, hey, I was a 6'6", 6'5", 230 D end, and then I moved to tackle, and I put on, 70 pounds by the time I got to college. But you already kind of had that size.
Yeah, no, I've never been skinny.
Yeah.
Never been skinny.
Always
I've
been a
always
big
been
guy.
like the bigger guy and taller than everybody else.
Yeah. Did you like? I feel like you had a little bit still of like reminiscent on your defensive end days. You kind of wish you could still play on the D line a little bit, or have you fully bought into moving to the O line?
No, I'm about in now. There's ways that can't go back now.
Well, yeah. Well, now you
I'm in
can't
way
go
too
back.
deep.
Yeah. Bad
Way too
question because obviously you're not going back. But do you wish like, oh, man, I wonder what would have happened if I like say like D tackle, you know?
I feel like I could play D tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I like really wanted to and was like really training for it, yeah, I probably could.
Yeah.
So
college opportunities start coming along, and as we were talking about earlier, you're a little bit more of an under the radar guy. I mean, you weren't like a 5-star prospect, you know, for instance, coming out of high school, but did the recruiting process for you start a little bit earlier, like sophomore year, or did it kind of come on later, like junior, senior season?
It started like sophomore year. I don't really remember it that much. I got a lot of attention my sophomore year. Yeah, it was really like out of the blue. Like I never made like any of those huddle highlights or anything. I was just like playing football, going to school, living life.
Yeah.
Now it was that.
You weren't really thinking about college, like?
No, I was, but I didn't think about like football college.
Yeah.
No, I was just like going to school, like regular kid.
And then all of a sudden, you know, maybe like during the spring, like, because, you know, a lot of college coaches are rolling through.
Yeah, we had a lot of good
Charlotte.
players.
Yeah. I mean, you think about like all the play, you know, y'all had Myers Park, then you got like Independence in Charlotte, and you got Mallard Creek.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of college players that come out of that area. So I imagine y'all had like a decent amount of foot traffic with colleges.
Yeah, for sure.
College coaches.
With my sophomore year, we had players that went to like smaller schools like JUCOs, and like D2 schools. So I wasn't thinking like big picture.
Right.
I was just thinking like, well, if they can go, I can probably like, you know, squeeze in somewhere. You know, I promise you, I didn't think this big.
Yeah, you were thinking small school, like maybe I can go get my school paid for it somewhere.
Yeah. I was like way, I'll say like freshman year, I was like, all right, Mom, I'm gonna keep it 100. Like, you're not gonna pay for like my college. I'm gonna either figure it out or I'm gonna get it like for free.
Right.
So I've been through that. So that's one thing she didn't have to worry about. Me.
Well, that's
her paying for that.
That's come to fruition. So that's pretty cool thing.
Got to speak things into existence.
That's right. So, what was do you remember your first scholarship offer?
It was who?
It's South Carolina. It was the very first one.
Yeah.
Well, if it's the first you remember, then that's the first one.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
Who was it, Indiana?
Well, either way. All right,
Somebody pulled me out of class.
Yeah.
And I got an offer. I don't remember what school. I think it was Indiana.
Okay, so
they wanted me to play defense, so I was like, yeah, no.
So at that point, you've already moved on from defense. Because earlier you were like, okay. All right, so at that point, you're fully like, I'm an O-lineman. And that was that junior year, sophomore year? You remember?
It was so.
Or maybe like the summer going into your junior, or the spring?
The one I got from South Carolina was definitely this summertime.
Yeah, so probably summer going into your junior year.
Yeah.
So you were sitting there kind of thinking, all right, I can probably go, like you've seen some of your teammates go into college and you're sitting there going, you know, I've got these physical tools I can play. Like I can probably go somewhere like them. But now you come in, now all of a sudden you've got a couple of Power 5 schools offering you. So was that like a light bulb moment where you're like, man, I'm going to go to a big school now instead of somewhere?
It happened in Coach. It was when my mom was here. My brother didn't come.
Mm-hmm.
It was at a camp, actually.
So you came and worked out with Eric Wolford at the time.
I was going to like all types of camps because like I'm thinking, like I'm just playing football. Just some regular kid. Just happened to be tall and be, you know, kind of good. I didn't know I was that good.
Right.
I was just playing, and then I had met Coach Bentley.
Yeah, Coach Bentley.
Coach Bentley was recruiting down in Charlotte.
Yep.
So I met him, and then he got me in contact with Coach Wolf.
Yep.
And then Coach Wolf was like, yeah, come down to a camp. And I was like, all right, you know, cool.
Yeah.
Why not? I was going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
I was already going to Charlotte, Virginia Tech, you know, a whole bunch of, like, you know, schools, you know, just for fun.
Yeah.
And then they offered me. I was like, oh, shoot.
Yeah.
I guess this is real.
Yeah, had to be a good feeling.
Yeah.
What was your family's reaction when you
My
told them?
mom was crying. I'm like, I didn't again, I was not thinking big picture. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
I'm a very in the now person. She's over here crying. I'm like, why is she crying? It's like, just vibe, just chill.
Well, what you predicted had ended up coming true for her.
Yeah.
You told her, hey, I'm going to take care of getting college paid for, and she might have been thinking the same thing as you, right? Like, hey, small school or something like that. And now you got a Gamecock offer.
Because all my family, they, grandfather, he played at North Carolina Central.
Uh-huh.
My mom went to Central.
Mm-hmm.
My grandma went to John C. Smith in Charlotte. So we're all like, you know, smaller schools like right there
Right.
in North Carolina. So that was like, you know, continue the legacy, I guess.
So you get the big offer from South Carolina, and that, I think, you know, you said Indiana may have been first, but South Carolina is shortly thereafter in the summer, and then that kind of really jumpstarts your recruiting, I guess, right? Because you end up getting offers from, as I remember it, I mean, I know North Carolina came in with an offer. I know Auburn offered you.
Yeah, I remember the Auburn one. I think Tennessee too.
Yeah, Tennessee, I think, was in there.
Honestly, I don't remember. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I didn't even post all of them.
Yeah.
I was again, just not thinking. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't.
I was new to this. I didn't know we were supposed to post them all on Twitter, and I didn't even have an Instagram. I was oblivious.
Yeah,
obviously.
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of cool. I mean, and that's more rare nowadays. You know, I mean, now guys are posting almost everything.
Yeah,
their offers, their workouts, but
I was never a big social media guy. I was just living my life.
Right. All right. So we got more to talk about on the other side. I want to look back a little bit more on, you know, kind of the middle and the end of that recruiting process that led you to South Carolina, and then talk some about your career so far at South Carolina, which has kind of flown by. It's been kind of crazy.
Right.
And then also dive into some off-field stuff with you and just find out a little bit more about you as a person. So we'll do that on the other side. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Garnet Trust Hour here on 107.5 The Game. We'll be right back.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
All right, Chris Clark back in studio with you. I am here with Jaylen Nichols from Gamecock Football here on the Garnet Trust Hour. Be going for about the next 45 minutes or so. And before the break, Jaylen, we were recapping your recruiting and how you've gone from kind of a more under the radar prospect to picking up some big Power 5 offers, you know, Indiana, South Carolina, Auburn, North Carolina. I think Tennessee was in there. Mm-hmm. So you weren't a big social media guy, but I do remember, you know, you did end up taking some visits, right? So you visited South Carolina. Where else did you go during recruiting on visits?
I really didn't go that many places. I went to, so my teammate Elijah Boat, he had committed to Virginia Tech.
Right.
I'm like, well, shoot, I want to go to Virginia Tech, you know, with my dog. So we used to go to Virginia Tech all the time. I don't even think they ever even, like, offered me, even after, like, all the offers I had got. I don't think they ever offered me, but I definitely went up to Virginia Tech a lot with him, Chapel Hill, and South Carolina. South Carolina was, like, stuck on us hard. It was, like, right down the street, super close. And then I know my mom, she loves the city down here. Mm-hmm. So we were down here, like, all the time.
Yeah.
We never even we were supposed to go to Auburn one time. I think my mom got sick, and then we just never made it out there. It was Auburn or Tennessee, one of those. I don't really remember. But yeah, I think it was Auburn. We were supposed to go out there, and like either my brother got sick or she got sick, and we just never made it out.
And you ended up committing here pretty early in the process, right?
Yeah, because I didn't like all that like attention. Like people kept like asking me questions, and I'm not like a big, like back then, super quiet guy.
Right.
I'm a lot better now. Like back then, couldn't get a word out of me. Then I was like, all right, well, cool. I know I had come down here so many times. Like I basically knew like, a lot of the players, especially like a lot of the players that played last year.
Right.
I got
Eric Douglas and guys like that.
Eric, 'Cause, all of us are from like the same area.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Speaking of that, I met Javon at Chapel Hill. That was like my first time like meeting him.
Oh yeah.
In person. And then Eric is a family friend of my grandparents. So we all live like right close to each other. And then I met them down here too. And then it was like, dang, such a like small world, and we really like connected. And then
And you graduated high school, so you were in the 2019 class.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Javon was 2018, Eric was 2017, I think. Yeah, so y'all did have a little Charlotte connection going on. So you committed to South Carolina, but do you remember this? So I remember at one point you'd been committed for a while, but there were some rumors going on at the time, like, I don't know, a few months after you committed, like when it was getting closer to signing day, there was some talk that like North Carolina and Auburn were trying to get you to come visit and see if they could flip you and everything. Do you remember that, or were you kind of insulated from all that?
Yeah, I definitely remember. It was like, I think they had like a whole new coaching staff.
Yeah, that must have been when Matt Brown was coming in, I guess. Yeah.
And then I think that they hired Coach Bly. Coach Bly was like one of my high school coaches. And I was like really good. Like, I knew him like very well.
Yep.
So that was like another reason. I was gonna go up there. I don't think I ever did.
Yeah.
I think I did maybe once. I went up there like once. But I never ended up going to Auburn. I don't know why. I just never.
Just didn't make it. Did you kind of give a second thought to UNC at the time? Like, since you knew some new coaching staff, in-state school, like, or was it just kind of like, nah?
It was like, maybe if it wasn't like so late.
Yeah.
It was like super late.
Super late, already committed.
Like, nah, I'm going to just stick to like what I know.
Yeah.
I don't want to take that risk.
So when you get to South Carolina as a freshman, so 2019 class, that's Coach Muschamp and his staff, Coach Wolford. What did you, like you said, you were a little bit even more of a quiet guy back then. So like when you got to college, whether it's like as a football player or just like college life in general, was it a big adjustment for you?
It was, and it wasn't.
Okay.
Like working out, of course that's going to be hard. For the freshmen, they're going to try to kill you. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. But like meeting people, I didn't talk for like the first 2 months. I don't think.
Really?
I don't think I talked at all. Yeah, that was probably the only thing.
Even to like Javon and Eric and
No, I talked to them. Like I knew them, but I didn't know them. For real. So like I'd be like, "What up, fam?" I just, I'll just mind my business. Just follow whatever they doing. They be doing like everything right. I just take myself.
Yeah.
Much.
Do you kind of follow their lead a little bit as far as in workouts and just kind of how to conduct yourself?
Yeah. That's pretty much just how it goes.
When did you start coming out of that shell a little bit?
Probably like, I don't know. Let me think. When did I get there? Like January?
Yeah, you were early enrolling.
I would say like April. No.
Oh, so it was
March.
It was that quick then, yeah.
Yeah, it was like March.
Yeah.
It was like March.
Did anything happen where you just got more comfortable?
Yeah. You see the same people every day.
Right.
And then, it's like you just get to know people over time.
Yeah. So, freshman year, you got to play some. I mean, you played in 5 games. You actually became a starter that season, which is kind of wild as a true freshman for an offensive lineman. Did you ever envision that?
No, not at all. I honestly thought, like, my freshman year, I was like, all right, cool, I'm going to learn these plays. And then, I'll play my sophomore year. Because we had experienced O-line. I was like, all right, cool, I'm going to learn from all of them. So then next year, I'll be ready.
Yeah.
And that just didn't happen that way. It really just like threw me in the fire. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, It's kind of wild. But like you said, like freshman year, you went like as a sophomore, you mostly played special teams, right? I think in year 2.
Yeah.
Whereas opposed to that first year, did y'all? I'm trying to remember. Were there some injuries or just a little thin?
Somebody got hurt.
Yeah, somebody got hurt.
Dylan got hurt.
Yeah, that might have been it.
Was it Dylan? It was.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. Because you moved. Yeah, so you started playing right tackle in the Kentucky game.
Yeah. And
then you played like the next 3 games. Then you got hurt actually.
Yeah,
I think
I hurt.
Had an ankle.
Dylan hurt his ankle the Missouri game, so I had to play the Kentucky game, and then I ended up hurting my ankle the Tennessee game. Yeah. And
so
I came back.
I know you were kind of used to it by that point, as far as like, you're practicing every week against, college football players, like SEC football players. You enrolled in January. I'm sure that helped. You had several months from January till when you stepped in the starting lineup against Kentucky to like get acclimated and everything. But think back to where, I don't know if you remember this, like first game, you're out there playing Kentucky, and were you like, man, this isn't high school anymore?
No,
like,
sure wasn't. I was not ready.
Looking back on it, you were not ready.
Oh no, not even close.
Really?
I was just out there playing. That whole first year, just out there playing.
Do you think you played like well or not really? When you think about it, or even when you go back and look at it?
I think I played good. Like what game was that? The Georgia game. I think I did pretty all right.
Well, that's pretty good against that level of competition.
Yeah, that game was insane. The other game we won.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other ones are kind of foggy. I do remember winning the Georgia game though.
Yeah, that was crazy down in Athens.
Yeah,
that was a wild game. So then 2020, you mostly played on special teams.
Mm-hmm.
Then, as a junior, you end up starting more games. And then, of course, last season you started and played in a bunch of games as well. So you played guard and tackle.
Yeah.
So you played right tackle, you've played left guard, and you've played left tackle. Yeah. Never taken any snaps in practice or anything? Never. Right guard?
Nope.
You're right-handed, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why I asked that. I was just curious, thinking left guard, right guard doesn't really make a difference. But do you have a favorite position, if you can think of one?
My favorite was right tackle, but I haven't played right tackle in so long.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember that really, but probably left tackle now.
Nick Gargiulo told us that he thought, Nick played left tackle at Yale, and now he's playing center and guard, but he said left tackle is by far the hardest. You agree with that?
Yeah, for sure.
Why is that in your mind?
I really don't know, but it just definitely is. It's definitely harder than the right tackle.
Well, if you're thinking about like guard or center, well, guard for you because that's where you have experience. I mean, out at left tackle, you're just on an island sometimes, right? You're just mano-y-mano.
But then again, playing guard, I've never played guard in my life, like ever. They really just threw me in the fire. But I mean, I played it. I did what I could. But look, the tackles, I can do that.
You feel like you're better at tackle, than guard.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay.
I was never really my thing.
All right.
I can do tackle.
Got to take a quick time out here on the Garnet Trust Hour on 107.5. Chris Clark, I'm hanging out next about 30 minutes or so with Jaylen Nichols, tackle from Gamecock football, and on the other side, going to talk a little bit more Gamecock football, talk about how he's doing right now as he recovers, and also going to chat a little bit about some off-the-field stuff. Again, you're listening to the Garnet Trust Hour here on 107.5 The Game.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour on your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
All right, coming to you from the Herndon Chevy Studios, it's the Garnet Trust Hour. Chris Clark, joined by Gamecock football's Jaylen Nichols, and we've been doing a deep dive on the first couple segments on his Gamecock football career. And obviously, Jaylen, we're talking about guard versus right tackle versus left tackle, but you settled in nicely at left tackle. That's where you saw a good bit of action last season, too. I remember there was a point where the staff decided last year to slide you out to tackle and play Ja'Kai at left guard, and that seemed to be a pretty good combo, right? So why do you think that ended up clicking so well? I think the first game actually was Florida, so nothing really worked too well in that game. But, you guys ended up playing that combo for the remainder of the season, and it went really well.
Yeah, I don't really know like why it worked so well, but it just did, and
Kind of clicked.
Yeah, we were just good with it.
So
they asked questions, we just wanted to play.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that was that.
So we've talked to so many players about the Tennessee and the Clemson games, and the consensus is always kind of just like some version of like, we just said, screw it, let's go play ball. Like, is that how you see it too?
Pretty much.
Did you?
It was like, well, it was like with the Tennessee game.
Yeah.
Well, last one, just go all out, and then they kind of just ended up working out.
Did it surprise you, like, honestly, that was the outcome? Like, maybe winning, okay, y'all won, but you scored 63 points.
Not really. But during the game,
yeah,
I didn't really like think about like score or like how we were doing, but like things just like kept clicking. I was like, all right, well, everything's working out.
Yeah,
but I didn't like realize until like after, I would say like the next day. That's when everything had like really like hit me. Even like when everybody like rushed the field, I was just standing there like, I was literally just standing there like, I was like, why is, like, y'all have never done this before. I'm gonna do it now. But I mean, I understand like why they did it.
Yeah.
But I was so like locked in, I guess, that I didn't really like get it.
It still wasn't real, maybe.
I was just playing.
Yeah, just playing football. Now you can tell you're just more of like a straightforward, like, let's just go out here. Let's just get the job done, right?
Okay.
Now, after that game, though, so after Tennessee, I know you said you didn't really expect, like, the outcome the way it was against Tennessee. How much did that increase the confidence when you go up to Clemson the next week? Like, was there a big shift in the team's confidence level, you think?
I would say, yeah. I feel like it definitely was. It was like, the question was, well, could we do it again?
Yep.
That was our main thing. Our main thing was like consistency, being able to do it, because we're not like the best at being consistent, but we've been working on it. And
yeah.
I guess everything just clicked those past 2 weeks.
Yeah. So when you mentioned working on consistency, that's something that Coach Beamer's actually talked about a good bit. Coach Day, I remember we interviewed Coach Day, and I think after the 2021 season, he mentioned, hey, we want to try to stack more of those great moments and be more consistent.
Yeah.
But even in 2022, that it was still there a little bit, right? Like the inconsistencies, you think about like the Missouri game, the Florida game, but then you think about Tennessee and Clemson, and you think about A&M and Kentucky. So how have you got, are you all still talking about that, the consistency? How do you work on that? How do you hone in on trying to be more consistent in 2023?
Well, I really took that from them. They were like, be consistent. And I was like, they're right.
Right.
So I took it like personally. And I was like, all right, I'm going to try to be the best I can every single day. They would say, like stack good days. Coach Teasley, I believe, would say stack good days.
Yeah.
On top of good days. And that's what I would try to do every single day.
Yeah.
And it ended up working out for the best.
Yeah, it's certainly. I mean, as we were going over, you and Ja'Kai, kind of having your 1-2 punch out there at tackle and guard certainly contributed to that success at the end of the season. So let's bring it forward now to more present day. Spring ball, you're playing in the spring game. Unfortunately, you get injured. Right off the top, I mean, how are you doing now with the knee?
The knee is fine, really.
Yeah.
I need to get my strength back. Everything else is good.
Yeah.
Healed up real good.
Yeah. So surgery was good. You're feeling good now.
Yeah.
And then what's kind of the schedule from here on out as far as, just being able to rehab and trying to get back on the right track to be able to play again?
Doing everything I can. I'm in rehab like all day.
Right.
No, well, not all day. I would say like all morning. Really. Because we're in there from like what? Start at 7.
Mm-hmm.
I normally leave around like 12, like 11. Yeah. So I do rehab a whole lot. Try to get this knee right. So I can come back and play. But, can't really rush it.
Yeah.
Rush it, it'll tear again, and I don't want that to happen.
Absolutely.
I don't think anybody does. So
what were you Did you kind of know that immediately what had happened, or were you not sure?
I wasn't sure, but I already knew that, like, the week before, like, my knee was already hurting. But I didn't think it was that bad. So, I'd be like, yeah, no more aches and pains. So I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm going to play.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want to do is play. Got to play through little small little nicks and injuries.
Right.
And then this ended up being a whole lot worse.
So what's your target as far as, like, I know Coach Beamer's left it pretty open-ended, as far as, like, your timeline, but is there at least a chance you could come back?
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
I don't exactly know when, but I guess it really just depends on how quickly I get my strength back and how it's healing.
Yep.
And all that.
Well, the most important thing, like you said, is not to rush it, because obviously you want to be able to come back whenever that is, at whatever level that is, and be able to play at your best level.
Right.
So last year was your fourth season. You were here during the 2020 COVID year, so you would technically have another year after this. Is that right?
Yeah.
If you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
You thought about that any, or is it just kind of totally depend on, like, what happens with the knee and the rehab for this year?
It's really 50-50.
Yeah.
I could come back next year. I could finish this season and, go to the next level.
Right.
So it's really like neck and neck at this point.
It's up in there.
Depends on whatever happens.
Right.
Take it day by day. That's the best way I can.
Yeah.
Comprehend with it.
So, wanted to ask you mentioned about Coach Lonnie Teasley earlier, and I know he's been involved with you guys for a while, even before he took over for Coach Adkins, but you've had a few different offensive line coaches here at South Carolina that are pretty highly regarded. You had Eric Wolford under Coach Muschamp, then you had Greg Adkins, and now you got Coach Teasley. So when you look at just all the knowledge you've acquired as an O-lineman, learning from those guys, what are your thoughts on what you've been able to take away from all those different coaches?
They're all very different coaches,
mm-hmm.
but they're all really good coaches.
Yeah.
So really, like, I know a lot. Because, like, you take little things from each one. And I don't know. Like, they're just so different.
They are different.
Yeah. The
styles.
Yeah. I mean, it's for the best, though.
Yeah. Do you think that's helped? Like, you just get to hear from some different voices and, like, incorporate all these different things into your game?
I had an O-line coach,
mm-hmm.
but I didn't at the same time. Like, back in high school.
Right.
So
that kind of helped you take things to the next level to have a, full-time college O-line coach. Yeah. All right, we're here on the Garnet Trust Hour on 107.5 The Game. I'm Chris Clark, joined by Jaylen Nichols. We're going to take a quick time out. Come back on the other side, finish up on the last segment. We're going to talk more Gamecock football with Jaylen, and also go off the field and find out a little bit more about him as a person. So we will be right back.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
All right, Chris Clark here with you in the Herndon Chevy Studios. You're listening to the Garnet Trust Hour. One more segment to go here with Gamecock football's Jaylen Nichols, offensive lineman, hanging out here with me for the hour, talking about South Carolina football, looking back at recruiting, talking offensive line, talking about a lot of different things. But Jaylen, let's go off the field for a minute. So, what do you like to do when you're not playing ball, when you're not, right now, obviously you got a lot of rehab stuff going on every day for the knee, but what do you like to do just in your spare time, what little you have?
It might sound like corny, but I like to learn. A lot of people don't really know that about me. I like to learn, like, skills and stuff. Like, I be in my house, I just be, like, trying new stuff. Like, I started working on cars. I didn't even know I was good at working on cars.
Really?
On cars. Literally, I had no clue I was even good at that. But I don't know. I'm good at, like, solving puzzles.
Yeah.
So I guess my car was like a puzzle, and it just worked out for me.
Are you? What's your major?
Public health.
I feel like you're like kind of like an engineer.
Yeah.
Like disposition. Yeah. You ever thought about that a little bit? No. You got a little bit of an engineering, like, mindset, especially, like, working on cars and putting puzzles together and stuff. Like, I got some buddies that are engineers.
I probably should have. But I just figured this out like last year.
Yeah.
I was good at this type of stuff. And, over time, you meet a lot of people.
Yeah.
Do a lot of different things. So I've met people who work in like Section 8, like who own like Section 8 houses.
Yeah.
So I've been learning a lot about that, a lot about real estate, a lot of different things. So I wanna try all that.
So you're a public health major. Do you think you'll do something in that realm? Or it kind of seems like you're maybe trying to just figure it out. Like you got some different things you want to do.
Yeah, I have like a ton of options.
Yeah.
I have so much I want to do. I don't know. I want to do something in public health. I might not. But I have a lot of free time right now. All I do is rehab, and then I go home. So I get to learn a lot about like everything. And then my aunt and uncle, they're both business owners.
Uh-huh.
So I learned a lot from them too. So I was like, well,
I love that because I like doing. I'm not like as mechanically inclined. Like if you ask me to work on a car, I'm not going to be able to do it. I can do some other things, but I love that. How did you discover that particular skill?
Which one?
The car one. Yeah.
I don't even know. I just started taking my car apart one day. I bought this toolkit. One day, and I was like, well, this is my car, and I'm a grown adult. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
So I just started taking it apart.
Just tinkering with it.
Yeah, and then I put it back together.
You watch YouTube videos for that?
Oh, yeah. YouTube everything.
You can learn a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you used to have, like, think
I
about
watch YouTube every single day.
Oh, me too, man.
That's how I learn everything.
It's bad. I mean, like, 15 years ago, we'd have to, like, all right, well, I need to figure out how to, take my car apart or build this. Like, I got to go get a book. Now you just look at YouTube. You can do, like, anything.
I watched a YouTube video, like, twice. Go outside and do it.
Oh, so you memorize it. You don't have to just sit, pause and look back.
Like, I put,
That's...
like, what a Rolls Royce is, like, the car, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, dang, that's tough. And I went on Amazon, and I bought, like, this kit. Right, to put the
model cars?
No.
Oh,
the kit. It's called these fiber optic lights.
Oh,
right. So I found this kit, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna put them in my ceiling. So then I'll have like that same thing. It's super tough. You can go outside and see it if you want after this.
We'll have to check that out.
But yeah, and then I did it. And I put it all back together, and then like all my friends like they love it. Man. I've done like a couple cars. I've done like 8 cars for people.
Well, I mean, that sounds like a business right there.
Yeah.
You'd just be like a car, what would be the word for it? Not like a detailer. That's more like cleaning the car.
It would be a customizer.
Customizer. There you go. I don't know why I couldn't come up with that. Jaylen's Customs. J Customs. You've thought this through.
COT Customs. I live in Charlotte,
Okay. COT Customs. I mean, if you've already got a book of 8 people, you book. I mean,
I can keep it rolling, but I'm not really consistent with it. I should.
Yeah.
I'm good at it.
Yeah.
I can do a lot of things. Like, I have to get a hold of the door. Somebody hit my car.
Yeah.
I got to swap out my door. I'm probably going to do that today.
That's awesome. You got your body shop going.
Yeah. Need a garage.
Real estate. You're aspiring real estate agent, possibly. Just going to do a lot of different
I'm definitely going to do real estate. For sure. That's set in stone. Matter of fact, I'm doing it right now. I might go work today. And, Section 8. Section 8, I'm going to do that after I get enough money from the real estate aspect.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that in this Section 8. I want to get, like, Section 8 houses.
Mm-hmm.
I want, like, hundreds of them.
Uh-huh.
Because, that's government money.
Yeah.
That's guaranteed money.
Yeah.
Not every month. So, if I get enough Section 8 houses, get somebody to manage them for me,
then
I just sit back. Let it all funnel through the LLCs and trust.
Yeah.
Get my money. I'm hands off.
And you got to figure it out. I'm gonna need maybe you can have a consulting company too, and help figure us out. Help all of us figure out how to run some businesses. So, no, I like all that, man. All right, so back to the football field for a couple more minutes, and then we're gonna go. I got a couple more football questions to fit in, and then we're gonna talk a little bit more off the field because we got more there too. What are your thoughts? You're going to probably, at least for a portion of this season, it looks like you're probably going to be rehabbing, but what have been your thoughts on this team going into 2023 and just taking that next step from how you guys finished the end of the year, frankly?
I feel like this team is going to surprise a lot of people. I know we're like kind of young, but we have a lot of good players.
Yeah.
Even from the spring.
Yeah.
Like I just have that gut feeling that like they're just going to blow.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy.
Have you, a lot of players that we've talked to when we've asked, like, who had a really big spring, who may take a big step forward, a lot of them actually mentioned Spencer Rattler. Do you agree with that, with what you saw during the spring?
Sure. But, I mean, that's Spencer. Everybody knows. Spencer's tough. Everybody knows that.
Right.
I feel like everybody, like, they got better.
Yeah.
Especially in the spring.
So I was on campus the other day I was watching a USC camp. I know you were out there working some campers, right? At the high school camp, I saw you out there. So I was covering some of the camps, and I saw some of the freshmen come up. So I saw Trovon Ball and Tree hanging out. Those guys do not look like freshmen. I mean, what?
Not at all. They're literally like grown. They're literally grown kids.
Yeah. They look like seniors.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, they look like some of y'all, like who were seniors, like you, Jakai, and all that. What have been your thoughts on some of the youngsters on the team? Whether it's those guys, or even some of the other positional players that have come in as freshmen.
Now, those my boys for sure. But I'm not really out there with them. When they're outside doing football stuff, I'm inside doing rehab. So I haven't really seen them. But from what I have seen, I feel like they're gonna be a major contributor.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think has to happen for this team to take that next step and realize it? Is it doing kind of what we talked about earlier and just being a little bit more consistent? Yeah.
But we're super young. We're gonna have to grow up. Not in a bad way, in a good way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wouldn't say anybody's immature, but they're gonna have to realize can't wait around. We're gonna have to y'all gonna have to play now.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the main thing.
Yeah.
That they're gonna have to understand.
Yeah. Well, even Coach Beamer said that y'all probably play a true freshman at every position, and so he's already said Marquis, for instance, is probably gonna play on the O-line. Yeah. But you've been impressed with what you've seen from Marquis too.
Marquis tough.
Yeah,
that's my dog.
Yeah, he's really good player, good guy too. All right, so back off the field for a minute. We've gone through some of your interesting off-field stuff, some of your business ideas. Let's talk about food a little bit. All right, we got to go there. You said you've always been a bigger guy, so I assume you like to eat. You're an O-lineman.
Yeah.
Do you keep it pretty healthy? Do you try to go outside of that a little bit? What's the...
I feel like I don't eat crazy. I don't eat
just normal.
Yeah. I eat a regular person. I don't eat tons of food.
Yeah.
It just sticks on me.
Right. What are some of your favorites? Just favorite dishes in general. You don't have to mention specific places, but what's a Jaylen Nichols go-to?
If I'm hungry and I'm in the house by myself,
yeah,
I'm gonna eat eggs for sure. Eggs with spinach and mushrooms.
That is interesting. I did not think you were gonna say that.
It's definitely
you scrambling the eggs up?
Yeah.
How many?
5.
Okay.
But I'll eat that and not eat for 6 hours.
Oh. That's a pretty filling meal. That's a lot of protein.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. All right, what about, you got a sweet tooth?
No, I don't like sweet.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for you.
You can ask all my homies. I don't like sweet.
No cake, no Sour Patch, nothing like that.
That's not me. I might eat let's say if I'm with Tyshawn, we in the car.
Yeah.
Right, and he has some. I'll be like, yo, can I get one? I'll just get one.
You just don't like them, or you have that much self-control?
Both.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Somebody told me cake or sweets, they make your stomach super big.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have a big stomach. And ever since then, I was like, yeah, nah, y'all can have that. And then over time, I just didn't want it anymore.
Yeah, that's impressive. That's good self-control. All right, Jaylen. Well, this has been fun, man. I'm sure we're leaving some things on the table. More ground to cover, but I'm sure we'll catch up at a later date to see how you're doing. Glad the knee's doing well, man. And I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to be in here with me. It's been fun. Yeah, man. All right, that's Jaylen Nichols, left tackle from South Carolina football. This has been the Garnet Trust Hour. I'm Chris Clark. You're listening to 107.5 The Game. And the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour is up next. Thanks for